only together we will succeed and live in one planet.
It's an emergency. It's our duty. It's our responsibility.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The second Asia International Water Week on air will begin shortly. For those of you who are participating off-site, please kindly turn off your mobile phones or switch them to silent mode. Participants in today's session will be speaking in either English or Korean, and simultaneous interpretation will be provided. For our online participants, please find the interpretation icon on the bottom black bar of your screen, and please select your language of choice. And for our on-site participants, we kindly ask you to use the receivers placed on each of the tables and turn to channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 for English. And for participants on our mobile phones, please log in using the horizontal screen instead of the vertical screen. Once again, for our participants logging in through mobile phones, we kindly ask you to please log in with your horizontal screen. Thank you very much, and we will begin shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests and VIPs are entering the hall. Please welcome them with a big round of applause. Thank you once again for your participation today. We are just waiting for a couple of our distinguished guests to arrive. Once again, we have interpretation provided, so please use the interpretation icon to select your channels. And of course, for our on-site participants, use the receivers and turn to channel 1 for Korean and channel 2 for English. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, once again for your participation. Welcome to the second Asia International Water Week on air, the opening event. And today we will be discussing under the theme of enhancing water cooperation in Asia in the post-COVID-19 era. My name is Ju-Yeon Cho, and I have been given the honor of being your host today. Thank you very much. From now on, the second Asia International Water Week on-air opening will officially begin. To begin with, I would like to introduce our attendees for the opening event. First and foremost, we have Mr. Tae Pyun, President of the AAWC and lawmaker of the Republic of Korea. Thank you very much. We also have Dr. Taehyun Park, the President of AWC and CEO of K-Water with us. Thank you. And we also have Mr. Chung Sung Lim, Treasurer of AAWC and lawmaker of Korea. We also are graced by Dr. Dong-jin Kim, Director General for the Water Resources Policy Bureau at the Ministry of Environment. Thank you very much. Also, we have Dr. Dong-jin Lee, Vice President of the Global Business Division at K-Water. Thank you very much. And next, we also have some online participants from those who are far away, but also online. We were to have His Excellency Mr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, the Minister of Public Works and Housing from Indonesia. But due to the flood damages in Indonesia, our minister had to join President Joko Widodo, and there was a last-minute change in his attendance today. We also have Dr. Somkiat Prajamong, Secretary General of the Office of the National Water Resources, Thailand. Thank you very much for your attendance. We also have Dr. Bambang Susantono, Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development of the Asian Development Bank. Thank you. We also have Mr. Sahib Nazarov, Vice Minister of Housing Communal Services of Uzbekistan with us. Thank you very much. And of course, our AAWC members, Mr. Muhammad Afzal Khan from Pakistan, Mr. Nawab Yusuf Talpur from Pakistan, Ms. Amrita Thapa from Nepal, and Ms. Mari Grace Costello from the Philippines. Thank you once again for your attendance. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, the President of Asia Water Council, Dr. Taehyun Park, will deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second AIWW opening. I am Jaehyun Park, AIWG President and the CEO of K-Water. Firstly, I am grateful to the honorable members of the 21st National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Jae-il Byun and Mr. Jong-sung Lim, Asian Water Ministers, ADB Vice President, and all participants for joining us today. First of all, I deeply appreciate HE Minister Basuki Hadimulyono's participation despite the severe flooding situation in Jakarta. On behalf of the AWC, I express my sincere condolences to the victims and hope for rapid recovery. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has been an enormous threat to all types of economic, social, and cultural activities in the world. In spite of the hardship, the world is experiencing cooperation on a scale that has never existed before. To overcome COVID-19, the global health industries, governments, and academia has been closely collaborating through the exchange of technologies and information. These efforts have accelerated the development of vaccines and vaccination programs in numerous countries. This level of cooperation shows what we can achieve in the water sector to resolve water issues in Asia and beyond. As part of this effort, the second AIWW On Air aims to solidify the preparation for the second Asia International Water Week by engaging various stakeholders, raising global interest in water issues, as well as advancing water solutions through cooperation. I sincerely look forward to meeting you all in person and listening to your invaluable opinions throughout the fruitful discussions in Indonesia this November. Once again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Park, for opening the forum for us today. Thank you very much for your kind words. And next, the distinguished member of the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Jae Il-pyun, will deliver his congratulatory remarks. Please welcome him to the stand with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. I'm Jae Il-pyun, President of the AIWC and a lawmaker of the Republic of Korea. Dr. Jae-hyun Park, President of AIWC, His Excellency Basuka Hadi Mulyod, Minister of Public Works and Housing of Indonesia, Mr. Im Jong-sung, Treasurer of AIWC, Dr. Dong-jin Kim from the Ministry of Environment of Republic of Korea, Honorable AIWC member Muhammad Alfujal Khan and Nawab Yusuf Puru from Pakistan, Amrita Thapa from Nepal, Attorney Imma Santos for Mary Grace Carsteller from the Philippines, and all of the distinguished guests from around the world. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for participating in the second AIWW on air opening today. COVID-19 is the latest example of the impact of this destruction of wildlife habitat caused by climate change and continued population growth. WHO claims that hand hygiene is one of the most effective actions to prevent the spread of COVID-19. However, 40% of the world population, about 3 million people, lack access to water and soap. According to the World Bank, world's poorest have least access to safe water and adequate sanitation and hygiene. This global pandemic is telling us that it is time to address global water insecurity and global inequality. It is essential to fulfill the human right to safe drinking water and sanitation in order for the pandemic to come to an end. In this regard, this event today, discussing our future cooperation for the post-COVID-19 era, will be a very timely and relevant conversation. AIWW on-air opening and the upcoming on-air sessions will be a great opportunity to share our worldwide expertise and knowledge in order to accelerate the investment towards the water-related SDGs and prepare for the future pandemics. In addition, on behalf of 23 AIWC members from 9 countries, we promise to take a leading role in realizing Asia's water welfare through political and legislative effort for the post-pandemic world. I firmly believe that we will be able to find and share practical solutions to achieve common prosperity in Asia and at the second AIWW in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. Once again, I extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining us today and wish you all the success of the second AIWW on air. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Pyun, for your kind remarks. And next, because our Minister Basuki Hadi Mulyono could not attend in person, we will have Dr. Mohammed Zainal Fatah from the organizing committee of the second AIWW to deliver Minister's remarks on his behalf. So please welcome Dr. Fatah to the screen.
Thank you. His Excellencies and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on this auspicious occasion, I would like to convey an apology from Minister Basuki because he couldn't able to leave the event with the Minister President to join this very important event. Please allow me to deliver Minister Basuki welcoming remark. Welcoming remark from the Minister of Public Work and Housing Republic of Indonesia on the second Asia International Water Weeks, the AIWW on air opening. Minister of Environment of the Republic of Korea, Her Excellency Dr. Han Jong-a, or representative, Minister of Water Resources and Meteorology of Kingdom of Cambodia, His Excellency Lim Kin Ho, Vice Minister of Water Resources of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Chan Shubin, President of the Asia Water Council, Dr. Jayon Park, President of the Asian National Assembly Water Consultative Board, Mr. Jel In Pyun, Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development, ADB, Mr. Bambang Susantono, second AIWW on air opening panelists and presenter, all participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. It is the great pleasure to honor for me to welcome all of you this afternoon on the second Asia International Water Week on air opening. Let me express my enormous appreciation to the organizing committee for arranging this event and to all distinguished guests who participate in this event amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is a very large archipelagic country with total population more than 270 million population. Based on the study conducted by the Ministry of Public Work and Housing, the potential of surface water in Indonesia is about 2.78 trillion cubic meter. However, as in the case of other Asian countries, Indonesia has faced three water problems, namely too much, too little, and too dirty. This problem intertwine in the potentially disastrous way with climate change and socioeconomic issues. Too much water has caused devastating impact, so as floods, landslide, and other water-related disasters, which are exacerbated by climate change and uncontrolled land conversion. Too little amount of water caused by drought and lack of water reservoir infrastructure have made it difficult to provide clean water for the population, which later triggers water conflict. Too dirty due to water resources are often shared with livestock and filled with untreated wastewater and bacteria. To overcome those problems, integrated water resource management by employing the concept of one river, one plan, one management has been implemented. IWRM has been carried out through water resources conservation, efficient water use, water provision for various demand, and water-related disaster prevention. Ministry of Public Work and Housing, Republic of Indonesia, has supported the implementation of IWRM in Indonesia by building structural measures to overcome water problem and to enhance people welfare through the development and improvement of dams and reservoirs as water storage to overcome or to deal with drought. Irrigation network for agricultural needs, river and coastal dikes as flood protection to anticipate the risk of future water-related disasters. Wastewater treatment plant and drinking water supply system to increase the quality and quantity of clean water for both drinking and daily needs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the current COVID-19 pandemic has obliged everyone to follow a set of health protocols to contain the spread of SARS-CoV-2 virus. One of them is to practice hand washing regularly with clean water. This health-related practice would like become a new public habit in the foreseeable future, even though the pandemic is over. The provision of clean water to support these new normal practices would become a new challenge to the public infrastructure sector. A recent study conducted by the Indonesia Water Institute shows that the consumption of clean water during the COVID-19 pandemic has increased 3 times higher than in the normal condition. Expenditure of water has increased up to 5 times higher than a normal condition. Such a significant increase in household spending on clean water has occurred at a time where most of the householders are undergoing a significant decrease in income due to the pandemic-related economic restrictions. One of the Ministry of Public Work and Housing efforts to support the national economic recovery is by implementing what we call Cash for Works program, which increase job opportunities significantly for those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, Ministry of Public Work and Housing allocates total budget around 1.66 billion US dollar for the program to employ about 1.23 million labor in various public work and housing sector. In the field of water resources, the program is divided into several categories, namely acceleration irrigation water use improvement, development of artificial rainwater saving aquifer, operation and maintenance of irrigation system, swamps, river, dam, reservoir, and retention basin, which are all done by farmers and local residents. Recently, the national vaccination program has been started. The aim of the national program is to reduce nationwide health vulnerability and thereby reduce economic uncertainty due to pandemic-related health problems. On the 23rd and 24th February 2021, today's more than 5,000 of Ministry of Public Work and Housing employees have participated in the vaccination program. I hope that the implementation of the national vaccination, especially in Ministry of Public Work and Housing, would allow the growth of construction industry. This distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the second AIWW on air is a series of a virtual conference organized as a preliminary event to raise global interest and encourage participation in the second AIWW. This event covers 3 pillars of the AIWW, namely Asia to the World Statement, Asia Water Issues, and the Water Project Business Forum as well. We will organize 6 webinars where each of its own predetermined that represent water issues occurring in the world, especially in the Asia. So the outcome of all second AIWW on air session will be delivered to the second AIWW in November 2021. In this event, all participants are expected to demonstrate how the practical solution can be achieved throughout sharing of process from planning to implementation, as well as follow-up, which is considered as a core value of the Asia Water Council working procedure to resolve the Asian water problem linked with the Sustainable Development Goals. Again, I would like to congratulate the Asia Water Council on the second AIWW on air. I wish you a very successful event and fruitful discussion. Thank you. The Minister of Public Work and Housing, the Republic of Indonesia, M. Basuki Hadi Mulyono. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there was all the remarks from Dr. Basuki, Minister of Public Work and Housing, Republic of Indonesia. Warm regard from Jakarta, Indonesia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fatah, and thank you once again, Mr. Basuki. And next we have Mr. Chung-Sung Lim, Treasurer of AAWC, who will deliver his congratulatory speech. Please welcome him to the stand.
예, 안녕하십니까. 이 AAWC 재정관을 맡고 있는
Good afternoon,
국회의원
ladies and gentlemen.
임종성입니다.
My name is Jong-sung Lim.
이 자리에 함께해 주신 존경하는 AAWC 변재일 회장님, 또
I would
박재현
first like to
AWC
thank
회장님,
President
인도네시아
Byung-jae
공공사업부
of
바스키 장관님,
AIWW,
아시아
also
각국
of
국회의원님을 비롯한
President
많은
of
분들께 진심으로
AWC
감사의
and
말씀을
Minister
드리겠습니다.
Basuki and other participants
특히
as well.
인도네시아 바스키 장관님, 인도네시아 홍수가
And also,
잘
I
해결되기를
really
진심으로
wish that the flood
기원드리겠습니다.
issues in Indonesia
저는 오늘
gets resolved
제2차
really smoothly in the near
AIWW
future.
온에어 행사에 AIWC
Today, It
재정관으로
is my great
참석하게 되어
pleasure to be
매우
here for the second
기쁘게 생각합니다.
AIWW on-air opening. I'm
AIWC는
very
AWC의
closely
중요한
cooperating to
협력
address
파트너로서
water issues
아시아의
in
물
Asia.
문제 해결을 위해서 많은 노력을 함께 기울이고
We are
있습니다.
pouring
특히
aligned efforts
아시아
all
나라의
together to
효율적인
resolve
물
many
관리,
issues in Asia
수자원
Pacific.
확보,
Especially
물과
AWC
위생 개선 등을 위해
and
여러
AAWC
건의
are
워터
collaborating
프로젝트
on a number
사업과
of joint
공동
research
연구
programs
사업을 진행
and
중에
water
있고,
projects for
또한
efficient water management.
제도적 뒷받침을
We're
위해
also securing water
법안
resources
제정 등을 계속
and,
추진 중에 있습니다.
pursuing measures for enhancing water and sanitation
제2차
in Asian countries.
AIWW 행사는 이제
And the
막
second
아시아를
AIWW
넘어
is becoming
세계를
the
대표하는
world's
국제
representative
물주간
international water
행사로
event
자리 잡고
extending
있습니다.
beyond the Asian region.
작년에는 코로나 상황으로
Even though
인해
it was
아쉽게
postponed
개최되지
to this
못하고
year due to the pandemic,
올해로 연기되었지만 그만큼 준비 기간이
think it
길어지므로
was a great opportunity
행사 내용은
for
매우
participants
알차게
from around the
진행될
world
것으로
to share their
생각합니다.
expertise and knowledge.
오늘
Because we
온에어
had
행사를
extended
잘
timeline for
마무리하고
preparation.
순차적으로 이루어지는 일정들에
I
대해서도
would like to
잘
tell
준비되어서
you that
올해
there are going to be follow-up
11월에
programs to be
예정된
shared and is scheduled on
AIWW
November.
가 성공적으로
AIWW is
개최되기를
going to be
희망합니다.
very successful. This is my
준비 과정
great
중에서
wishes.
AIWC
During the
또한
preparation
변재일
process,
회장님을 비롯해서
President
각국의
Jae-hyuk
의원님들과 함께
and lawmakers
제2차
of Asia are going to be
AIWW
committed
성공을
to
위해
actively supporting
필요한
the
지원 사항에
preparation
대해서는
of the second
적극 지원토록 하겠습니다.
AIWW, and we won't spare
올해부터
our
코로나
support
백신이
for the
접종되기
successful operation of the
시작했습니다.
upcoming event.
백신
Recently,
접종이
vaccination programs
순차적으로
for
잘
COVID-19
진행되어서
have started in many
11월에는
countries,
꼭
and it is my hope that the
인도네시아에서
vaccination programs will be carried
개최되어
out
많은
efficiently
분들과
in each
자리를
country
꼭 함께
so that we
하기를
can
기대해
see each
봅니다.
other in person
감사합니다.
in November in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Treasurer Lim, for the great congratulatory speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a lot of congratulatory speeches today. So next, the Honorable Minister Jung Hae-han of the Ministry of Environment of the Republic of Korea has sent her congratulatory remarks.
안녕하십니까. 대한민국 환경부 장관
I am
한정우입니다.
Jung Han,
제2차 아시아
Minister of
국제물주간
Environment. I
언어 오프닝
wholeheartedly
행사
congratulate
개최를
you on the
축하드립니다.
commencement of the second AIWW
오늘 아시아 물 협력
on-air
논의를 위하여 뜻깊은 자리를
opening.
마련해 주신
So thank
아시아
you,
국회의원 물
President Jae
협의회
Il-byun
변재일
of
회장님,
the
아시아
AAWC, and
물위원회
also
박재현 회장님,
President Park
인도네시아
Jae-hyun of the
공공사업부
AWC,
바스키
and
장관님께
Minister
감사의
Basuki
말씀을
from
드립니다.
the Public Works and Housing
또한
Ministry
어려운
of
시간에도 귀한
Indonesia.
시간을 내어 참석해
So
주신
thank you
중국,
also to the
태국,
distinguished
필리핀,
guests here today
캄보디아,
from China,
우즈베키스탄의
Cambodia,
장
Thailand,
차관님과
Philippines, all of the
아시아개발은행
ministers,
부총재님,
also the
그리고
Vice President
국장님을
of the,
비롯한
and Director of
모든
the
기능께
ADB
감사드립니다.
for taking time out of their busy
내외 기빈
schedules to
여러분,
be with us today.
유엔은
So distinguished
지속
guests,
가능 발전 목표
the UN has declared a
6번
decade from
모두를 위한
2018 to
물과
2028, the
위생
Water
목표
Action
달성을
Decade to achieve SDG 6, which is
2018년부터
clean water and
2028년까지
sanitation,
10년을 물
and
행동
has been
10년으로
urging its member
청명하고
states around
전
the
세계
world
회원국의
to
협력과
cooperate and
수행을
take action.
촉구하고 있습니다. 아시아를 비롯하여 지구촌 여러
So we
국가가
are
겪고
fully
있는
aware that
물
water issues
문제는
confronting the international
개별 국가의
community
노력만으로 극복하기 어렵다는 것을 우리는
also in Asia
잘 알고
cannot be
있습니다.
tackled solely by individual
특히
countries alone,
코로나로 인해
especially
지속 가능하고
facing the
깨끗한 물이
COVID-19
인류의
pandemic right
생존에
now.
얼마나
This
중요한지
is
우리는
something that we have started to
새삼스럽게
feel
깨닫고
vividly, how
있습니다.
crucial it is for
코로나와
sustainable
기후
clean
위기로
water
물의
for the
중요성은
survival of
더욱
humanity. So the
강조될
importance
것이며
of water will further
이러한
be
인류 공동의
highlighted
문제를
moving forward in the
극복하기
face of the
위한
pandemic and
협력
climate change.
플랫폼으로서
And
아시아
so as a cooperative
물위원회와
platform, we need the
아시아
AWC and the
국제의원 물 협의회
AAWC
역할은
to
더
address these
막중해질
water
것입니다.
issues confronted by us all, which will
한국은
become
지난
more
7월
pivotal
그린
moving
뉴딜
forward.
계획을
Korea
발표하고
unveiled the Green New Deal in
이어서
last
작년
July,
10월에는
and in
2050
October
탄소 중립 목표를
announced the
선언하면서
2050 carbon neutrality
깨끗하고
strategy.
안전한
And
물
this
관리
is
체계
to steadily
구축에
build clean and
쓰고
safe
있습니다.
water management system.
또한 포스트 코로나
In
시대와
addition, Korea has been
신기후 변화
constantly
체제에 대응하여
beefing up its cooperation with the
국제기구와의
international
공동
community,
연구,
launching joint research and
국제개발
ODA projects in
협력
collaboration with global
국제사회와의
organizations
협력을
in
강화하고
response to the
있습니다.
post-COVID-19 era
이번
and new
국제
climate
물주간을
change
계기로 아시아
regime.
물복지
Korea will seize this
향상과 물 문제
opportunity
해결에 더욱
to contribute
기바지할 수
more
있도록
to water
노력하겠습니다.
issues and addressing
이러한
important water
의미에서
issues. In
오늘
this
포스트
context,
코로나
the
시대
second
아시아 물
AIWW
협력을
on-air
주제로
opening
개최되고
is being
있는
held
제2차 아시아
with
국제
this
물주간
theme, and it's
온에어 오프닝
also
행사는 중요한 의미를
going to talk a
갖습니다.
lot about
오늘을 시작으로
significant
약
issues of the
6개월간
water issues,
진행되는
and for
제2차
6 months
아시아
it's going
국제
to take
물주간
place
온에어
to
행사를
prepare for the
통해서
AIWW event
아시아
that will be
전역은
held
물론
later this year.
전
So
세계
it'll
물 문제
serve
해결에
as
이바지하기
a
위한
forum to
심도
tackle
있는
water
논의가
issues in
이루어지기를
Asia and around the
기대합니다.
world.
각국의 장
So I look
차관님,
forward
국회의원님,
to all the good
그리고 물
discussions
분야
here, and all the
전문가분들의
experts,
활발한 토의를
ministers,
통해
parliamentary
아시아
members
최대의 물 관련
together.
국제 행사인
I hope that this is
제2차
a
아시아
successful
국제
event. The second
물주간의 성공적인 개최를
AIWW, I really
기원합니다.
hope for the success of that
감사합니다.
event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister Han, for your kind words. And next, the Honorable Vice Minister Sahib Nazarov of the Housing Communal Services of Uzbekistan has sent his congratulatory remarks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants of the event. Let me sincerely welcome the participants in today's ceremony and express my deep gratitude to the Asian Water Council and the Ministry of the Public Works and Housing of Indonesia for organizing today's event, which is the first step for the second Asian International Water Week. Ladies and gentlemen, against the backdrops of climate change and a storage of water resource, the world has entered a fundamentally new period of development due to the serious change caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In this difficult period for all countries, a serious challenge continues to be the task of sustainable provision of the population with sufficient clean water and those implementations of agenda of the sustainable development cost in the field of water resource. Let me outline the visions of Uzbek side on possible direction for the further development of water cooperation during the post-COVID-19 pandemic. First, strategic security and reliability of unified system of transportable water resource. In this direction, it is necessary to ensure the protection of transportability of national water source from the location of water intercept and environmentally harmful industries. Lack of cooperation and in some cases prolonges disputes between individual riparian states does not allow optimal use of international watercourse in the interest of all basin states. Second, in modern condition, the use of digital technologies is becoming of the key factors ensure this stable provision of clean, affordable water in countries. It is necessary to develop an automatic control system at all stages of the water supply cycle. Third, reduce the cost of water use in agriculture and industry. The main volume of water resource consumption falls of agriculture and industry, while the share of water consumption by the population of significantly small. It is necessary to carry out strict regulation by the state of the rational and efficient management of water resource in agriculture and industry. At this stage, it is necessary to introduce smart technology solution for monitoring and controlling water resource. Fourth, security, sustainable funding for SDG for COVID-19. Strong budgetary resource associated with the COVID-19 crisis created budget space for social spending of the medium term. Further, in portrays of protection social spending in the face of the resource constraint and competing spending priorities is important to safeguard the country's progress toward SDG 6. It is necessary to eliminate the funding gap and mobilize research, both public and private. First, regular exchange of experience and scientific and technology advances to ensure the efficient water supply, encouragement and development of partition between developed and developing countries. Continuous dissemination of knowledge between experts from different countries is necessary, as well as subject transferred and dissemination of the squared experience without the country, within the country. In this direction, the site of Asian International Water Week serves and an effective platform between the countries of the world for scientific and practical cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, in Uzbekistan, under the leadership of the President of the Republic of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, large-scale reforms are being carried out, aimed at further deepening structural reforms and modernization the water supply system, as well as cardinal and critical measures to preserve and improve natural and climatic conditions. Relevant regulation has been adopted to further develop the water sector and integrate water resource management in the post-COVID-19 post-pandemic period. In particular, targeted reforms have begun to introduce more smart technology solutions, SCADA, DMA, smart meters, digital the industry, and introduce modern information technology. improve the replace equipment with energy-saving ones, and interest social awareness of population on the rational use to water. In consult, let me once again express my science graduate to the organization for holding days, meetings, and high level. Of course, virtual communication can serve as a temporary bridge, but we hope the host the main event of the second International Water Weeks in person and meet you face to face. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister. Thank you very much for your kind words. And next up, we also have His Excellency Minister Lim Kien Hao of the Water Resources and Meteorology of Cambodia to deliver his congratulatory remarks.
Excellency Basuki Hadimuljono, Minister of Public Work and Housing of Indonesia, hosting conference. Dr. J. Hyung Park, CEO of Cape Water and President of the Asia Water Council, Excellency, distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of the Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology in Cambodia and AWC Council member, it is indeed my great pleasure and honors to deliver my congratulatory remark on 24 February 2021 as preliminary event of the Second Asia International Water Week on air to raise global awareness on Asia water's problem and attract public interest for upcoming Second Asia International Water Week AIWW that will organize in November 2021 in Luban, Bazo, Indonesia. Water is considered as the precious resources for supporting the sustainable livelihood and development of all people and countries in the globe. Investment in water resources sector development and management toward the better outcome in supporting the development is critically needed and important, but very challenging in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic in emerging climate change. Joint effort and stronger cooperation and partnership within the individual country and through bilateral and multilateral framework are considered as an effective working and collaborative approach for the sustainable solution in addressing water-related problems. Working toward the desired outcome above, it requires high-level political will, commitment, and support. As one of the countries in the region, the Mekong and Asia, I would like, on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, to emphasize our firm commitment in supporting and promoting the regional and international cooperation and partnership for the sustainable water management and development toward the achievement of the sharing prosperity and sustainable future. I am the firm belief that preliminary event of the Second Asia International Water Week on air today is raising global awareness and attacking public interest related to our region water challenge and problem for contributing to help foster the transboundary water management and cooperation within bilateral and multilateral framework for driving successful of Second Asia International Water Week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for your kind remarks. Thank you. And next, we also have the Honorable Vice Minister Tia Shui-bin of the Ministry of Water Resources, China, to deliver his remarks.
尊敬的亚洲水理事会朴ዘይ贤主席，尊敬的印尼公共工程与住房部卡迪莫尔约洛部长，尊敬的各位部长、代表团团长、女士们、先生们，大家好。
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon.
非常高兴
It is my great pleasure to be here for the Second Asia International Water Week on air opening. The second AIWW was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the Asia Water Council and the Ministry of Public Works and Housing of Indonesia have overcome all kinds of difficulties and opened a series of activities of AIWW on-air opening, enhancing water cooperation in Asia, in order to guarantee water security in Asian countries. Here, on behalf of the Ministry of Water Resources of China, I would like to express my heartfelt congratulations and our sincere gratitude to the host of this event for your careful preparation. China is a big country and has accumulated rich and abundant experience in sustainable utilization of water resources. River basin ecological protection and high-quality water management, as well as various water projects are included. With our colleagues in the water industry, AWC has become a very important regional water cooperation platform, actively bettering water governance in Asian countries. And the sustainable development of the region is what we pursue as well. We really appreciate AWC's positive contributions, and as an active participant in multilateral water cooperation efforts in Asia, we will also spare no effort to support AWC to grow stronger and will actively take part in the preparation process of the second AIWW. To ensure the launching of this big event on time, as a Chinese proverb says, when big rivers have met and when small rivers have water, all countries are going to all countries in Asia are going to work towards the same direction, and because we are working hard under the same goal. Facing the COVID-19, Asian countries should unite closer to overcome difficulties and challenges, and I call on Asian countries to jointly respond to regional water challenges all together by strengthening bilateral and multilateral water cooperation and exchanges, and also sharing successful water management strategies. We should ensure economic development experiences through sustainable water management plans, and also together we can build a harmonious future with blue sky and green nature. I wish this event to be a great success. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister Shebin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Dr. Bambang Susantono, Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development of the ADB. This is a keynote address, but because we are slightly delayed on time, we would like to ask for your understanding and ask for you to please use 3 minutes for a short presentation. Thank you very much.
Water Council, President J. El Bun of the Asian National Assembly Water Consultative Board, Mr. Zainal Fatah and Dr. Firdaus Ali from the Indonesian Ministry of Public Works and Housing. Honorables, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. I would like to first congratulate the Asia Water Council, the Ministry of Public Works and Housing of Indonesia, and the organizing committee to successfully holding the second Asia International Water Week virtually. I would like also to join other speakers in expressing our condolences to the victims of flooding in Indonesia. I do hope that everything will be tackled and resolved very soon. On behalf of Asian Development Bank, it is my honor to join this virtual forum. Water is a critical issue affecting sustainable growth in our regions, and the sessions will provide leaders and practitioners an opportunity to together develop practical solutions to the challenges posed by the COVID-19 global pandemic. When ADB launched our flagship publications, the Asia Water Development Outlook 2020 or ADO 2020 in December last year, our president, ADB President Asakawa, emphasized the urgency of building water security as a defense against disease. In the launch, I myself stressed that advancing water security was also fundamental to achieving the SDGs. This is because water security closely relates to those SDGs that address poverty, food and energy security, good health and well-being, sustainable cities and community, gender equity, reducing inequalities, climate actions, and the health of ecosystem in general. Part of ADO's 2020 value additions lies in the relevance of its analysis for concrete policy decisions at the country level. This is why we have already begun holding country-level launch events, starting with Indonesia last month. I hope you can see a picture of Minister Hadi Mulyono in the slide here, who joined us to deliver his keynote remarks. ADB and Ministry of Public Works and Housing Indonesia are truly great partners, and we would like to see this relationship continue in the future. The launch was followed by the technical webinar sessions held yesterday. The participants discussed opportunity to further operationalize ADO as a policy tool for achieving the SDGs and water security. This is what we call in ADB knowledge solutions. In this case, we are not just producing and sharing knowledge, but also translating the knowledge into actions on the ground to provide solutions to many problems and challenges at the community level. The ADO 2020 uses 5 key dimensions to assess water security, defined as the availability of adequate water quantity and quality. We want to ensure there is a safe, affordable, equitable, and inclusive water supply and sanitation. Such water security will promote sustainable livelihood and healthy ecosystem while helping us manage water-related risks. ADO 2020 also analyzes water financing and governance issues, and it includes 4 country case studies: China, India, Thailand, and Timor-Leste. In the previous ADO editions, we also had Bhutan and Mongolia as case study. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in ADO 2020, we created a map that labels economies by their national water security scores. These derive from a composite index of the 5 key water security dimensions. Of the 49 economies we examined, only Afghanistan remains in a nascent water security stage. The highest score were in advanced economies like New Zealand, Japan, Australia, and Republic of Korea, which are rated as effective. None has reached the highest category of the model stage. To put it more bluntly, despite our region's many achievements over the past decades, 1.5 billion rural people and 600 million people in urban areas still lack adequate water supply and sanitation. In short, there is much to do to improve water security across Asia and the Pacific. This slide shows the relationship between the National Water Security Index scores and the gross national income per capita. It is clear that the two are closely related. We must therefore continue to work on all the dimensions of water security for the economic prosperity of the people across our regions. So let me briefly discuss the 5 key policy recommendations in the ADO. First, economies must put water at the center of sustainable rural development. Policies should promote water-efficient agriculture irrigations, community-based water and sanitation services, and disaster risk reductions adapted to local conditions. Second, we can achieve urban water security by investing in water, sanitation, and disaster risk reductions, not only in city centers, but also in low-income and peripheral areas. Third, we can provide a healthy environment by drastically reducing pollution, stimulating our circular economy, increasing land protections, and embracing nature-based approaches and solutions. Fourth, we must increase water system resilience to avoid water-related disasters and to be prepared for climate change and other global trends. And lastly, we must leverage additional resources and bring good governance to better manage our water resources and attract greater investment. And I must add that all of these recommended policy actions are required to be executed in a gender-conscious manner. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, from 2020 to 2022, Asian Development Bank has programmed $6 billion in financial and technical assistance for safe water supply, sanitation, and wastewater management. There is also over $2 billion allocated for flood risk reductions, together with our tailored knowledge services that promote innovations, build resilience, and importantly, forge partnership. We at ADB are committed to this journey together toward a more water secure and resilient Asia and the Pacific. So let us all join hands to reach this goal and to build back better in a post-pandemic world. Thank you for the opportunities.
Once again, Ms. Dr. Susantono, and excuse us also for cutting short your presentation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we also have an introductory video on the second AIWW on air to be delivered. So please turn your attention to the screen. what a beautiful country, and we have high hopes that we will all be able to see you in person in November of this year. So before we move on to the panel discussion, I'd also like to give you a brief statement about the second AIWW on-air opening. So we have started today on February 24th, and we will have a series of sessions until June 17th as a preliminary sessions to prepare for the November 2nd AIWW. We hope to see a lot of participants, and we ask for your undivided attention and interest. So thank you once again, and now moving on to our panel discussion. Because we are slightly pressed on time, we kindly would like to ask all of our panelists to please remain within the 2-minute boundaries of your speeches. And with that, I'd like to introduce some of our guests that we were not able to introduce previously. So we have Dr. Somkiat Prajamong, the Secretary General of the Office of National Water Resources of Thailand. We also have Dr. Robert Guild, Chief Sector Officer of the Asian Development Bank with us. And on behalf of the Minister from Indonesia, we have Dr. Firdaus Ali, the Special Advisor to the Minister of Public Works and Housing of Indonesia, and also the Vice President of AWC. And thank you. With that, I'd like to move on first to our first question, and it will go to Dr. Prajamong. In terms of water, Thailand is expected to utilize state-of-the-art technologies to respond to climate change and water risks, together with the countries in the Mekong region. So what kind of strategies will Thailand employ with the fourth industrial revolution for managing water resources in the post-COVID-19 era? We ask for your answer.
Yes, thank you very much. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from Thailand. Sawadee krap. So before going any further, I would like to thank AIWC to organize this on-air opening to be the platform in addressing one of the most striking and challenging issues in our world today. And I am very glad to be here as part of this event to share Thailand's perspective on this issue. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that fresh water is the basic of life on our planet. It is the basic human right, critical factors in the health of global environment, and vital part of the business operation. We have been long acknowledged that water is prone to human-regulated and natural-induced factors. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has proven that water is also fragile to other uncontrolled factors. COVID-19 has enormous impact to both water demand and supply, and also affect the way we communicate and negotiate for water management, such as the increased use of teleconference and the on-air opening that we are experiencing right now. With the movement of people to their hometown or from the city and from the community, because of droplets caused by COVID-19, in Thailand now we have about 25,000 infected cases. This makes the demand of water fluctuated, resulting in uncertain planning of water supply. Consequently, a good strategy and investment in digital transformation is needed to transform the conventional way of water resource management, particularly in the Trans-Boundary River, such as the Mekong River, as its effects can go beyond the local boundary. As water has no boundary, therefore we need the whole basin data for the effective Trans-Boundary water management. We're looking for very, very effective evidence, especially scientific evidence, such as the satellite image or like a remote sensing. Those data are for monitoring, analyzing, forecasting, and measuring against water hazards. Those data of history record and the current record then collected for different use, such as for scenario operation. This never-end process of data analyzing or performance data will help to improve optimal product for decision support system. why we need technological help for decision support system, digitalization of seamless water data sharing, or open source come through data sharing we call open water online. Right now, Thailand has developed one map as ideal tool for the effective water management. The objective of this technology is to build one data platform in the Mekong River Basin. At the very first step, we can start from the existing initiatives such as the Mekong River Commission, Asian, or even the ASMEC mechanisms. We are looking for data and information flow as we believe that this will drive cross-border transfer of knowledge, greater efficiency in operation, and enhance access to cutting-edge water management. To do this, governments need to create a safe, seamless, and efficient ecosystem for data sharing and use in order to ease data flow and improve access for all. This has to be designed carefully with respect to National Data Protection Act, which will in turn build users and business confidence. Further, a creating of regional center of excellence could be a good start to promote technology, innovation, and application by sharing knowledge about emerging technology and trends as well as implications on business in the region. This also includes structured programs to help government, business, and other stakeholders within and across region effectively develop any data sharing ecosystem. And that are the view from Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Dr. Prajamong, for that concise presentation. They do say that data is the 21st century gold. So we hope to see and hear more from you in the November AIWW. And now moving on to our second question, I would like to direct this question to Dr. Robert Guild. The Asian Development Bank published the Asian Water Development Outlook 2020, or the AWDO 2020. Could you briefly introduce to us what this report is and share its strategies to resolve Asia's water risks and issues in the post-COVID-19 era?
Sure. Thank you very much for that excellent question. ADO 2020 is ADB's flagship publication on water security that adopts a multidimensional methodology to examine the state of water security and define policy recommendations. As we all know, water security plays a fundamental role in inclusive and sustainable economic growth, social well-being, resilience to water-related disasters and climate change, and healthy environments. All of this is even more urgent now due to the pandemic because access to water, sanitation, and hygiene offers the primary line of defense against the spread of disease. Considering strategies to improve water security, ADO 2020 highlights the need to dramatically increase investment. I will describe some of the details of the policy recommendations introduced by Dr. Susantono earlier. First, rural household security is paramount in the Asia and Pacific region, given that nearly half of the region's population are still living in rural areas. Second, to improve urban water security, we need to recognize the need for better engagement with socially vulnerable groups in informal settlements and follow a gender-based approach. Third, a resilient, evidence-based approach to water systems could enhance future preparedness for water-related disasters and pandemic security. The current pandemic has made this both obvious and urgent. Fourth, there is a range of additional policy recommendations such as improving security by reducing pollution, fostering a circular economy, embracing nature-based solutions, enhancing security by putting water at the sustainable of rural development, and promoting good resources governance to leverage additional financing. And finally, advancing water security requires convening all public, private, and innovative forms of financing, especially since the pandemic has affected the fiscal space of sector entities and partners everywhere. In closing, I want to reassure that ADB will continue to work with its developing member countries by providing financial, technical, and knowledge solutions, including partnerships and multi-sectoral knowledge products. We will continue helping to improve water security in the region through the current pandemic and beyond as we all rebuild towards a sustainable future. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Guild, for a concise but also compact answer. I believe that AIDO 2020 and water security is also focused on investment and financing, but thank you once again for that comment. And now I'd like to move on to a question for Dr. Firdaus Ali for Indonesia. So the Ministry of Public Works and Housing will host the second AIWW in November of this year. So could you share the expected outcomes of the second AIWW, as we believe that it will be a very significant event?
Thank you. Very good afternoon from the capital city of Jakarta, of Indonesia, Jakarta. So on behalf of the Minister of Basuki, I would like to respond to the question. The second Asia International Water Week will be held in November 2021 in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. As the spread of COVID-19 has been the greatest concern globally, our government will continuously monitor the current status and prospect of the COVID-19 pandemic for the participants' safety. On the second AIWW 2021, it is expected that we can share experience and knowledge to formulate solutions for water issues to be used as a reference in water resources management in Indonesia and other Asian countries. In regard to the new capital relocation project, we plan to create a smart metropolis which serves not only a smart city but also as modern place that complies with world-class infrastructure, standard, and smart technology to improve city livability, resilience, and sustainability. Water resource management is undoubtedly needed for the new capital city to able to continuously to meet water need and create sustainable water resources. I believe our discussion in the second AIWW 2021 in Labuan Bajo will also bring benefit for the government of Indonesia and also the new capital city of Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your answer and also taking your minister's place in the panel discussion. So thank you, and we hope to see you in November of this year. Well, thank you for that. And now moving on to our next question. I believe we have a question for panelists here. For Mr. Dongjin Kim of the Ministry of Environment. The COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated the importance of water resources for social and economic reconstruction towards the green economy. Here in Korea, we also talk about the Green New Deal these days. So what does the Korean Ministry of Environment expect from its Green New Deal in the water sector? And how does the ministry intend to cooperate with other Asian countries?
Well, first of all, thank you for that great question. The Korean government, in this era of climate change, we want to do smart management of water. That's where our interest lies. And with other Asian countries, we want to cooperate in this field. And in water management, it's about dams and flood protection and so forth. And urban water management is also very important, the water systems in the urban setting. And the Ministry of Environment is investing a lot in this area. If I would give you an example, for flood management, we have a smart dam system that we're introducing. We've been starting that with our dam construction, smart dams. And through AI technology, we are also going to mitigate floods and do flood management. And also the water systems, we want to make smart water systems as well for waterworks in the cities. And to K-Water, that's organizing this event, they have a lot of know-how, they have a lot of experience also in doing outreach overseas as well. So I think we can really cooperate a lot with other countries. The Ministry of Environment will also support its best with K-Water to make this cooperation happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kim, for your comment. As you have heard, probably from the interpretation, the Korean Ministry of Environment is seeking to share various different experiences in terms of water management with other Asian countries, more specifically dam management as well as flood management. And he also mentioned the incorporation of AI and other technologies in the fourth industrial revolution. So now moving on to our last question for today, I would like to direct the question to Dr. Jae-hyun Park. In the post-COVID-19 era, the water industry needs a new driving force to support its growth. And in the meantime, carbon neutralization is also considered as an opportunity to comply with the post-2020 climate regime, which actually starts this year. So what strategies does K-Water have, and how does your organization wish to cooperate with other countries in Asia?
Yes, I'm president of AWC and CEO of K-Water. My name is Park Jae-hyun. First of all, the second AIWW on-air opening, we're here talking about, well, it's an honor for me to introduce K-Water's cooperation in Asia for SDGs achievement through the enhancement of carbon neutrality. Carbon neutrality is a universal value related to the survival of mankind, and these days it's a great impact on the economy. It's a global paradigm, and we talk about carbon border tax and so forth. And even in Korea, in December 2020, the 2050 carbon neutrality strategy was announced. And K-Water, so along these lines, also is doing its efforts and stepping up its efforts. We declared climate crisis management and joined RE100, and we are also preparing the implementation roadmap to meet carbon neutrality targets. And also, we are expanding in large amounts the dam water floating PV system as a water corporation. And we're going to do this together with residents and also share the profits with residents. And as a new business model, by 2028, we're going to generate 10.5 gigawatts of power through this way. In addition, hydrothermal energy system, which reduces building heating and cooling energy by 40% using differences in water temperature, is being applied. Right now, we're applying it to Lotte World Tower and 13 K-Water office locations. And so, connecting this and using this in city planning, we are trying to make this a basic utility for new cities. Just like the UK, K-Water as well is pursuing carbon neutrality in its water treatment plants. Already, we're operating net zero water treatment plants, and by 2023, in 43 water treatment plants, we plan to have PV and hydrothermal energy technology applied. And so by 2030, in all of our water treatment plants will achieve net zero. K-Water is playing a leading role in water-related carbon neutrality efforts, and through AWC, by participating in AWC, that is, which is Asia's leading cooperative platform, we plan to continue to promote these activities, such as water floating PV system, which includes participation of residents to reduce conflict with the local community, and also hydrothermal power projects and know-how sharing and technology transfer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Park. And as he mentioned, as the leading water organization in Korea, I believe that we will pursue various different activities in the future, and we also have high expectations as to cooperation in the Asian region. So thank you once again, panelists, for the great answers. I believe we have enough time just for one question, so I would like to give an opportunity to the floor for some of our participants if you have a question. So if you do have a question, please raise your hand and we'll direct your questions to the panelists. So I believe that we do have a question. So yes, Mr. Xavier, please ask your question and also direct your question to one of the panelists, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for taking my question. My name is Xavier Lefebvre. I work at the OECD in the Environment Directorate. The OECD has been working with most of the panelists actually to strengthen the enabling environment that can accelerate financing for water-related investment in Asia and the Pacific. So I would like to thank the distinguished panelists for very inspiring remarks. And my question is more specifically directed to Dr. Park as president of AWC. When it comes to financing for water-related investment, what would you see as successful regional cooperation in Asia and the Pacific? And how can we all contribute to an ambitious agenda for the Asia International Water Week on finance? I look forward to your answer and also importantly, to meeting you in Labuan Bajo in November. Thank you.
Yes, I believe that that question was directed to Dr. Park.
예, 말씀하신 바와 같이
Yes, like was just mentioned, with the OECD, AWC, and the Ministry of Environment together, we're doing joint research on 9 countries in Asia. So there's a joint study, joint research going on right now, collaboratively. And so in 2020, we designated Thailand, and in the case of Indonesia, we're going to do a study for Indonesia this year. And the budget for this, by each country, $600,000 for each country is the budget we have for this research and study. And so $5.5 million in total is the budget for this project that we're conducting. And through this study, particularly, we're trying to address mitigating water disasters such as floods and droughts. So we want to bring about sustainable development and secure water security and try to present technical and policy solutions to resolve these issues to vulnerable Asian countries. And this kind of research results should be shared through AWC at the AIWW so that water-related investment and water security enhancement efforts can be promoted. And so we're also going to make the Asia Welfare Report, which diagnoses water issues in Asia and establishes feasible plans. And through this, with the AWC member bodies, we are going to plan water projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that great question as well as the great answer. I was told by the organizers that we have time for just one more question. I believe I saw a hand being raised. Was there a gentleman who had his hand up before? Yes, I believe I see you up on the screen. Yes, I believe you have a question. I think it's Deputy Director General from Laos.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to have the one question regarding to the development of the water sector in Asia country. As you are aware that each country in Asia is the different development water sector. So my question is that how can we go together? I mean that how can we manage and how can collaboration with each other in Asia country? Thank you.
And thank you. Who did you direct your question to?
Sorry?
Who was the question directed to, once again?
I mean that as you are aware that in Asian country, we are different development of the water sector. So that's why my question is that how can we cooperate and how can we manage together in the future. For example, in Lao PDR, the purpose of the water utilization on mostly for the hydropower, but in another country, they use the water is the different purpose. So that's why how can we manage and how can we assist each other in the future?
Thank you
Can
very
you get my
much.
point?
Yes, I think that your question may be answered by Dr. Park once again.
Yes, thank you.
질문하신 바와 같이
So just like the question was
아시아는
asked, in
여러
Asia,
가지
there
다양한
are
상황에
various
놓여 있다고
levels
생각을
of response right now. There's the situation all different. Climate situations are different,
산업도 다양하고
and industries are all different
따라서
in
거기에
Asia.
필요로
So
하는 수자원의
there's
물
water
안보 문제도
resources and water
다양한
security
형태로
issues
진행이
are all
되고 있는 것
different.
같습니다.
The urgencies are all different for all countries. So
AWC라는 플랫폼을 통해서
through this platform called AWC that we have, we want to bring that diversity together. And just like the question was asked just now, we have to work and do research with various different countries because there's different characteristics in all different countries. So we have to analyze that and research that, each one. And based on that, the ADB or other bodies such as the OECD, these bodies, we consult with them and try to tackle and address these issues. We have to find the policies that are right for each respective situation. So in this second AIWW, we want this to be discussed in depth, these issues that we've talked about. And in the response just now, in the ADB, I think, let's see, earlier there was from the ADB. Excuse me. I checked it earlier and highlighted. The AWDO, ALDO 2020, they made that report, and so the ADB is making that effort, and I mentioned the Water Welfare Report, the Asia Welfare Report. All of that is basically looking at the situations of each country. That's where we can look at each country's situation, and by looking at each country's specific situations and issues, I think that's where we start to tackle and address these issues. So anyway, through the AWC, we're trying to put this all together, these efforts. And in November, we're going to have the AIWW meeting, and so that's why we're having this on air, so that we can make this on air. It's the preparations for AIWW, right? So if everybody participates in this and moves forward, I think
Thank
it will
you
be
very much for the
great help.
great comment. I believe the Asia Welfare Report, as well as the other reports in the region, will provide the grounds for future cooperation based on the analysis. And with that, I think, thank you once again. We will close the Q&A session. And now I'd like to hand over to our lawmakers, our two respected lawmakers, for an overview of today. So first of all, Mr. Pyun, I would like to hand the microphone over to you.
각 세션들 토론을 통해 가지고서
Yes, by having a number of discussions, just like what was suggested by Lao PDR, we are facing different situations and circumstances by country. So we need to sit down and engage in in-depth discussions to analyze the best strategies and practices for individual country. This is what I hope for. I'm going to spare no effort and support for this direction.
Thank you very much. And now over to Mr. Im.
예, 오늘
Thank you very much for joining us today. I would like to express my great sincere gratitude to every single participant, especially our participant from Lao PDR. He emphasized that every single country is facing different situations. That is correct. Because of climate change, some countries are facing drought, whereas other countries are facing flood. And because of these discrepancies between countries, AWC decided to launch the Asia Welfare Program in order to heighten the development level between different countries. Clean and safe water has to be provided for all humanity. And this representative Asia policy platform is going to help people who reside in the Asia-Pacific region, and I'm going to actively participate in policy suggestions in the Korean government as well. Thank you very much for your great
Thank you
attention.
very much. Thank you to both of our two lawmakers, Mr. Pyun and Mr. Lim, for those remarks. And to all the panelists as well as our participants, thank you once again for your undivided interest and support today. For your reference, the summary of the second AIWW on-air opening will also be available on YouTube in the following days. So for those of you who wish to revisit the discussions that we had today, please refer to the YouTube channels. And to conclude today's opening, the president of the Asia Water Council, Dr. Park, will deliver his final closing remarks. Please welcome him to the stage.
We have reached the end of the second AIWW on-air opening. It is my firm belief that the expertise and competencies shared today on Asia water cooperation in post-COVID-19 era will facilitate the achievement of the 2030 agenda and resolve global water problem. Due to the effects of the new normal and climate crisis, the world we now live in requires innovative and integrated water management, which is possible due to the fourth industrial revolution and the rapid digital transformation. And we can improve ourselves when cooperate with the diverse stakeholders and organizations by sharing experiences and best practice together. I sincerely hope the second Asia International Water Week and on-air play a pivotal role in improving access to clean water and sanitation for all and achieve SDG 6 to enhance global water welfare. Today's opening ceremony is just the beginning of the second AIWW on-air, which will continue for the next 6 months. I look forward to your continuous and active participation in the on-air program. Along with this process, the Asia Water Council promises to dedicate itself to promoting global interest in Asia water issues to successfully host the second AIWW in November. Once again, I appreciate everyone who participated in the second AIWW on-air opening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Park, for closing the second AIWW on-air opening. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your efforts today and your participation. We will actually take a commemorative photo all together. So for those of you who are participating online, please find a good position for your camera so that your face will be in the photo. I will give you a little bit of time for you to adjust the camera if you need the time. And for our panelists, also, please, a big smile with your eyes and say hello to the panels through the camera. So I will count to 3. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, please wave your hands. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles and wave. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your participation. And we will now take one more photo with just our panelists on site. 네, 현장에 계신 분들만 모으시고 저희가 한번 촬영 다시 한번 하겠습니다. 네, 앞쪽에 카메라를 봐주시고요. 네, 사진 촬영 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네. 네, 일어서셔도 괜찮을까요? 네, 일어서서 진행하도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you. I would like to ask everyone to stand up
And for those of you participating online, that will officially be the end of our second AIWW on-air opening. Thank you once again for your participation, and we wish to see you soon in March. Thank you very much.